Hey guys, my name is Matt. If you're new to the channel, I talk about anything that's random that matters to you. In today's video, we're going to talk about the national debt and where I think it's going and where we've came from, right? So I'm going to start with where we came from, and we're going to cover the last 10 years and show you how crazy this national debt bubble has came from and where it's going. Okay. So in 2010, okay, guys, the national debt was $13.5 trillion, okay? And since then, from 2010, we go to 2013, it's practically gone up about a trillion every year since then. So no matter whatever side of the aisle you're on, it's essentially gone up across the board. So, like for example, right? In 20, let's see here. All right, so in 2010, you had the payroll tax, you had the Obama tax cuts, Affordable Care Act, all these things, right? In 2010, the debt was 13 trillion. And then in 2012, the national debt hit a fiscal cliff and we bumped up due to debt crisis, recession, tax cuts, reduced revenue across the board, and the national debt went from 2010 being 13.5 trillion to national debt in 2013 going to 16.7 trillion. And then to fast forward a little bit, in 2017 we jumped up to 20 trillion. Congress raised the national debt ceiling, okay? And then from 20, let's see here. Yeah. 2017, it was 20 trillion. And then from 2017, we went to 2018, and Trump introduced the tax cuts. So we went up to 21.5 trillion. Okay. And then in 2019, we had the trade wars. So we jumped up to 22 trillion. And then in 2020, we all know what happened in 2020. You don't have to be rocket science to figure that out. The so-called thing that happened globally threw everyone into a recession. So then we had to print money. So that bumped us up to $26 trillion. And then in 2021, we went to $28 trillion due to the American Rescue Plan Act. And then in 2022, we went to 30.9 trillion in national debt due to the Inflation Reduction Act. And I want you guys to hear these numbers because in 2023 we went to 33.1 trillion, and as of September 6th, 2024, we are at $35 trillion in national debt. So why am I covering these numbers, guys? So I'm covering these numbers, guys, because it's important to realize the national debt is not going down, and they continue to find reasons why they want to print the money, guys. At the end of the day, they want to continue to find reasons to print the money, and they want to continue to create wars and grants and bailouts and funding national or foreign national escapades and endeavors. Look, at the end of the day, guys, if they continue to print the money, it's throwing us all into more debt. The taxpayer has to pay the debt. At the end of the day, the taxpayer pays the debt, and at a certain point, we're going to get top heavy, and we're not going to pay the debt anymore, guys. That's what people aren't realizing, is that we continue to go down this path of just print, and it's making, look, what has gone up in the last 3 years, 4 years? Anything ring a bell? Maybe cars, maybe mortgages, maybe food, labor. Yeah, just to name a few. Everything's gone up, guys. Why? Because they're printing the money, guys. That's why. They're printing the money, and it's coming back to roost, right? And if we cannot continue to, you know, deport or export the debt to other countries, then the debt comes back to us. And when the debt comes back to us, we feel the effects. As the American consumer, we get hit the hardest because we are the ones having to essentially live with the national debt. Like when the debt comes back and the US can't export or push on the debt and have other countries buy our debt, then it's making everything cost more across the board. And so, as of right now, we're in $35 trillion of debt. I don't really see the United States, I don't really see us getting out of debt, to be honest with you. I mean, you look at these numbers, and then if you guys can see the chart, it's insane, guys. I mean, just go to Google and type in U.S. national debt from 1990 to 2023. It's insane, guys. It's insane. The debt continues to grow. The U.S. is not going to pay the debt back. There's no way. The U.S. is barely covering the interest payments on the debt now. How is the U.S. going to get itself out of this crisis, this perpetual crisis of print, print, print? How do you think the U.S. supports everything? Because the U.S. just prints money. That's it. The U.S. prints the money and funds the foreign, endeavors, foreign aid, proxy conflicts, perpetual military-industrial complex. I mean, look, everything is built around the debt, right? This entire system that we live in is built by the debt. The powers that be, I guess, must be doing these under-the-table backdoor deals for the politicians. And so politicians are getting paid out, and the politicians are voting on bills and passing bills that essentially are lining the pockets of these corporations, guys. At the end of the day, these corporations are the ones that are controlling the politicians. Because you talk to average Americans, these Americans do not want this much debt. These Americans are not cool with the national debt getting this large. We are not going to be able to pay it back. There's going to be some type of intervention, I think. And the intervention I think that's going to happen is going to be a foreign conflict. It's going to be another global situation. It's going to be, I mean, or crypto. Crypto could somehow, consume a lot of this debt, but I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, they talk about by 2030 you'll own nothing. That might have something to do with it, guys. By 2030, you'll own nothing, apparently. And that might be because of the debt's going to continue to rise. Where do you guys think the debt's going to be by 2050? If the national debt has grown by $10 trillion in the last 5 years, where do you guys think the national debt's going to be in the next 10, 15 years? It's like exponentially going up, guys. The national debt is. So that makes me question a lot of things. It makes me question the U.S.'s sovereignty. It makes me question the U.S.'s financial future. It makes me question practically everything about the United States. So, yeah, I mean, leave in the comment below, guys, what y'all think the U.S. is going to do with the debt. Is it going to pay the debt back, or are we just going to go into this like perpetual state of like just continuing to just debase the currency, continue to print, and just the entire economy is just going to eventually it's going to be so expensive to live. It'll be like when you're traveling and go to these other countries and like you go like try to use their local currency and it's like 500 or whatever their currency is to like buy a soda. Like I feel like that's how it's going to eventually be. Like it's going to in the US, maybe not that bad, but it'll end up being probably like where you go buy a soda and it's going to cost like 15 or $20 to buy just like a drink, a sweet tea at a restaurant. Like you go to dinner and it's going to cost like, $2 $250 for like the average meal, like lunch. Like I feel like that's how it's going to end up being. But who knows? I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully, the U.S. pays its debt back. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and we can go from there. But I really think the U.S. has a lot to deal with as far as the debt, and we continue to create more foreign conflicts, and we continue to create more government programs to create more government spending, and then we continue to vote on increasing the debt ceiling. If they don't increase the debt ceiling, guys, this whole game we play stops really quick. So, anyways, guys, leave a comment below. I appreciate it. And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I pump out content every single day, so I'd appreciate if you give me a like, follow, and a share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will talk to y'all later, all right? Peace.